Hi, I'm Scott, 32, and last Sunday my mother looked me straight in the face, laughed, and asked, "How does it feel to be useless, son?" I smiled, calmly lifted my water glass, hands shaking like an overloaded washing machine, and said, "Feels great, because I just stopped paying your rent." Dead silence. My dad choked on his beer. My sister Jenna finally looked up from her phone, and my mom's smirk collapsed like a deflated tent. Let me rewind. I'm a night shift security guard. Lobby floors that smell like lemon cleaner and old carpet. Cameras, clipboards, stairwells, coffee machines that scream like they're dying. I live alone in a one-bedroom apartment off the freeway. I iron my shirts on Sundays, keep my boots by the door, and write everything down in a little pocket notebook. Page 1 says, boundaries. Page 2 was blank for 3 years. My family calls when the lights flicker, when their car makes a noise, when the landlord's breathing down their neck. Not to check in, to get things fixed, and I used to fix them until the day I realized I was the only thing in the house they never called family. Just functioned. It was a regular Sunday dinner. Greasy air, football humming in the background, plastic chairs sticking to your legs. Jenna scrolling TikTok, Dad working on a new beer. I brought pumpkin pie from the supermarket, 2 for $8, still had the sticker on the lid. I set it down, washed my hands. Mom looked up with that look, chin high, smile to wide. The one she uses when she's feeling bold in front of people. How does it feel to be useless, son? I blinked. Jenna smirked. Dad chuckled. He's sensitive, Dad said, like I wasn't in the room. Mom leaned in. You don't come around. You don't help plan anything. Security guard isn't hard. She said that like I was wearing a clown suit and not a badge. Then Jenna chimed in, deadpan. It's giving mall cop. The glass in my hand trembled. My hands don't shake at 3 a.m. when drunk guys scream in my lobby. But here, with family. They shook. That was the moment I saw it all clearly. They weren't teasing. They believed it, that I was useless unless they needed groceries, rent, gas, or Jenna's textbooks, which were really her nails, and a ring light she forgot to change the shipping address for. So I looked at my mom, smiled a little too calmly, and said, "Feels great, because I just stopped paying your rent." Her face went white. Dad sat forward. Rent? What rent? Jenna stopped chewing. I let it hang. 5 payments. Labeled utility to protect Dad's ego. Thousands wired without ceremony. Rent paid from overtime hours and skipped meals. They laughed at me. Mocked my job. My life. My quiet. But that quiet paid for their roof. That quiet kept the heat on. I didn't yell. I didn't explain. I just cut them off. And now, well, the group chat has gone silent. The Wi-Fi they forgot was on my card just blinked out. Jenna posted a tearful video about toxic brothers. Mom whispered on the phone, begging me to just talk. But here's the thing, I'm not a villain. I'm not dramatic. I'm not even angry anymore. I'm just done being the bank that gets laughed at. The spare part in a family machine that only spins when I feed it. I said one sentence. That's all it took. Feels great. Because I just stopped paying your rent. Asterisk. By Monday, the fallout had begun. I clocked in at 11:53 p.m. like I always do. Swiped my badge. The night lobby was quiet, marble echo, vents humming. I poured myself stale coffee and pulled out my notebook. On page 1, right under boundaries, I wrote a new line, follow through. By the time I finished the second cup, my phone had blown up, 12 missed calls. 3 voicemails. First from Dad, clipped, confused. What the hell do you mean you paid rent? You trying to embarrass us? You think you're some big shot now? Then from Mom, rapid fire whispering like she was narrating a hostage video. Scott, this isn't funny. What are we supposed to do now? You didn't even give us time to adjust. The rent's due in 3 days. And then Janet, of course. Wow, okay, so you're the kind of person who punishes your whole family because you didn't like a joke. That's really gross. Mom's crying. Hope you're proud. She attached a selfie. Eyes red. Middle finger up. Captioned, family shouldn't feel like a job. I laughed out loud in the empty lobby because family had been my job. Unpaid, unthanked, unrelenting, and now I was on strike. Tuesday. I muted the group chat. Fam jam. It used to ping every 6 minutes. Memes, chain prayers. Scott, can you? Scott, will you? Now it was a courtroom. Aunt Lisa weighing in with verses. Cousin Terry asking if I needed therapy. Jenna playing the victim on every platform that would have her. She even posted a TikTok where she fake cried while talking about how hard it is when you're big. Brother turns out to be heartless. The comments were pure drama. Dump him. Family doesn't treat family like that. He sounds jealous of your sparkle. I didn't comment. I didn't message. I just watched. By Thursday, Mom texted again. This time, fewer daggers. More dread? The landlord came by. We have until the 5th. We might get a late notice. I don't know what to do. That's when the itch started. The old one. The voice that says, fix it, fix it. You're the net. I didn't answer. I opened my notebook. Page 3. Title. Do not backtrack because they cried. I wrote it down. It helped. Friday night, the internet in their apartment went down. Guess what card it was on? Mine. Jenna texted, why is the Wi-Fi not working? I have a brand deal due tonight. I replied with 2 words, call Spectrum. Saturday morning, I woke up to a single text from Mom. Just a photo of a red notice taped to their door. Final rent warning, and beneath it, just this. Are you seriously doing this to us? I read it while eating a piece of toast with actual butter. Not margarine, not plain, because now I had money for butter again. I replied, no, I did this for me. Sunday, nothing. Silence. No ping. No guilt trip emojis. No middle fingers. It felt like a snow day as a kid, the kind where you wake up and realize you get to stay home. Nobody's making you do anything. You're off the hook. Free. I sat by my kitchen table, staring at my plant. I'd bought it on a whim. The label said low maintenance, thrives on neglect. I named it later. Because that's what I'd always told myself. I'll rest later. I'll speak up later. I'll set boundaries later. Now, later was finally getting watered. The real shift happened Monday. I was walking into work, same lobby, same night desk, when Pete, the doorman from the day shift, gave me a weird look. You look different, he said. New haircut. He shook his head. Nah, you're taller or something. I laughed. Nah, man, just carrying less. And it was true. I wasn't waiting for the phone to ring anymore. I wasn't waiting for permission to be tired. I wasn't writing rent checks with the phrase just this once echoing in my brain like a lie. I'd stepped back, and they didn't know what to do with the silence. They were scrambling. Like people used to floodlights suddenly left in the dark. I was the switch they never thought I'd flip. And now I was off. 2 days later, Dad called. Left a voicemail I'll never forget. You think you're better than us? You're not. You're just scared. You're weak. You want to be needed but not called out. Then, quieter. Jenna needs a new tire. Her car's dangerous. She almost spun out yesterday. I stared at the message. Listened twice. Thought about the car I used to fill up for her. The brake pads I paid for. The oil changes she never scheduled. I typed a reply. Take the bus. Then I blocked his number for 24 hours. Not out of spite, just peace. That night, I went for a walk. Midnight, street lights humming above. I passed the bodega where I used to stop after long shifts and spend the last $5 in my wallet on instant noodles and bottled water. This time, I bought gum and batteries. Just because I could, I walked home. No calls. No texts. No Wi-Fi password reset requests. And for the first time in years, I felt like my own person, not a placeholder, not a punchline, not the useless son, just me. And honestly, it felt amazing. The eviction notice came on a Tuesday, red ink, bold letters, taped crookedly to their front door like a warning or a dare. Mom sent me a photo. No emojis this time. No captions. Just the raw image, the way fear looks in print. Then she called. I didn't pick up. Then she texted. They'll throw us on the street. Scott, we need your help. Please. I sat on my bed, stared at the screen, and waited for the old guilt to crash down like it always did. The kind that made me reach for my wallet before I even knew what I was buying, but it didn't come. Instead, I stood up. I went to the kitchen. I poured a glass of water. I watered later, the plant. And then I opened my notebook and read my line out loud. If they get evicted, it's because of their choices. My hands didn't shake. Not even a little. So I called her back. She answered on the first ring, breathless as if she'd been holding it. Scott, she said, already weepy. It's real this time. They said Friday. We have to pay everything by then. You can sell the TV, I said. The new one. The one you got instead of paying the landlord last month. A pause. Sharp enough to hear the disappointment cut through it. We already sold the old one, she said, voice brittle. Then talk to the church. Ask for help. Talk to the landlord. Set up a plan. Her voice changed. Syrup to steel. You think we're rich? I think you're capable. I said. She hung up. 10 minutes later, the Fam Jam group chat blew up. Aunt Lisa led the charge. I just heard what's going on. Scott, how could you let this happen? Your poor mother's been crying for days. Then Uncle Ron. This is not how we treat family. Then Jenna. Guess what? Mom's skipping meals to stretch groceries. Hope you're proud of yourself. Big man. I scrolled. I didn't answer. Just muted the thread. Again. On day 8 of the standoff, Dad called. Straight to the point. No hellos. No small talk. You think you're a big man now. He said, voice tight, cutting us off. You think that's what a real man does? I didn't take the bait. I didn't cut you off. I cut off my card. We gave you everything. He barked. You owe us. You gave me life, I said quietly. The rest I earned. He scoffed. Your sister needs a new tire. It's dangerous. She could crash. Then she should stop texting while driving. Or take the bus. Asshole. He muttered. Click. Day 11. Jenna texted. Late. 2:06 a.m. Are you awake? I was, of course. I work nights. I was watching a tenant throw up in a trash can outside the elevator. Yeah, I replied. She sent a long message. Not quite an apology, more like a storm of excuses dressed up in sincerity. How her manager cut her shifts. How her tips sucked lately. How she's trying to make things work and Mom keeps saying, I love to play the victim. Then she ended it with, I hate you for making Mom cry. I waited a minute, then typed, I don't hate you. I hate what we're doing. I added, I'll send you a budget template if you want. Her reply, knew you'd cave. Can I get $200 for groceries? I didn't answer. By day 16, the Wi-Fi at their apartment officially shut off. Jenna filmed a full Instagram story. Shaky cam, wet lashes, violin music playing over it. She said some people in your life are just toxic and controlling, and that being blood doesn't mean being loyal. She tagged me. A girl from her high school commented, Girl, you're 26. Pay your own Wi-Fi. I screenshotted it. Felt petty for 5 minutes. Then felt amazing for 10. That Friday, Mom called again. This time, the voice wasn't desperate or angry. It was tired. We talked to the landlord, she said. I waited. He's giving us 2 more weeks. That's good, I said. Did you sell the TV? Silence. Then, the sigh. Your father says it's the only joy we have left. The only joy you have is a TV. I asked Dot that came out harsher than I meant it. But I didn't walk it back. She didn't answer. Then came the classic pivot. The script she's used my whole life. If you were a real man. I am. I said. That's why I'm not paying. She hung up. That night, I took a different shift. For to midnight, I walked out at 12:07 a.m. and the air hit different. Brisk. Clean. Light. I walked to a bodega that always kept the weirdest plants out front. I bought one. Small, scraggly, dusty leaves. The clerk said she thrives on neglect. I smiled. Perfect, I said. I brought her home. Set her beside later. Named this one because even if I still felt guilt, even if they hated me, even if my fingers itched to fix everything again, I wasn't going to. 2 days later, my cousin Miguel called. Not loud, not dramatic. Just, hey, I saw the chat. Just wanted to say I get it. We talked for 10 minutes about everything and nothing. I cried quietly while he told me about switching jobs and how he sleeps better now that he's not everyone's emergency contact. It was the most family I'd felt in months. And then, on day 21, the voicemail came. Mom's voice. Quiet, measured, no scripts. We sold the TV. A pause. We're talking to the church about help. Your father's applying at the hardware store. Another pause. An inhale like it hurt. You made your point. I still don't like how you did it. But we're doing something. I played that message twice. I didn't cry. I didn't cheer. I sat on the couch beside later and even if, and just. Breath. It felt like something had loosened in my chest. Not forgiveness. Not yet, but space. A little bit of air between their hands and my wallet. A little bit of proof that the world didn't fall apart when I said no. And somewhere in that quiet, I realized something. I wasn't afraid of being called useless anymore because I'd finally stopped being used. By week 4. The ground under my feet finally stopped shaking. Not because everything was perfect. Far from it. But because I realized I didn't need the chaos to stop to feel steady. I just needed to stop stepping into it voluntarily. That Tuesday, I got a voicemail from Jenna. No attitude, no performance, just a clipped, tired voice saying, I got full-time at the cafe. Not forever, but for now. Then, a second message. Thanks for the budget template. It was one of those rare texts that doesn't scream or cry. It just lands. I sent her a thumbs up emoji. That's it. She replied to minutes later. I still think you're dramatic. Double quotes classic. But then after a pause, but I'll be okay. And that meant more than anything else she'd ever posted. Tagged or fake cried about. The Fam Jam group chat stayed oddly quiet after that. Not silent. There were still blurry memes. Chain prayers from Aunt Lisa and the occasional look who graduated from dog obedience school. Post, but the requests, the Scott can use, the do you mind just this onces? They stopped. The weirdest part. Nobody said why. They didn't acknowledge the shift, didn't apologize or scream or try to win me back. They just adjusted because when people realize the vending machine doesn't work anymore, they stop kicking it. And I wasn't vending anymore. At work. The new supervisor, clipboard guy, pulled me aside. Training a new hire, he said. You're steady. People listen. You good with mentoring. I wanted to laugh at the irony. Me, the guy who used to shake holding a fork at dinner, now being told I was steady. I said yes. The new guy was 20, jumpy, and allergic to eye contact. But I saw something in him. The same look I probably wore once. Like he expected to be blamed for something he hadn't done yet. I told him, you don't have to be loud to be clear. People respect calm more than shouting. He blinked, wrote it down. I watched the weight ease in his shoulders, and I realized something else. I'd spent years giving to people who couldn't see me. Now I was giving where it mattered. Not charity. Not rescue missions. Just usefulness with boundaries. A week later, I drove past my parents' place on the way home from shift. I slowed but didn't stop. The blinds were half open. Mom sat at the table with papers. Dad was pacing with a phone to his ear. The new TV was gone. So was the glow of entitlement. They looked ordinary. Like people figuring things out. I didn't feel pulled in. Didn't feel like I needed to go knock or cry or apologize for something I didn't break. I felt like a man in a car driving his own route. That weekend, I saw Miguel again. We met for coffee in a strip mall where nothing costs more than $8. He was in warehouse boots and a hoodie with a grease stain shaped like Texas. We talked for an hour about how peace isn't always quiet. Sometimes it's noisy and uncertain, but still better than silence laced with guilt. He said, "You look lighter." I shrugged. I stopped carrying things that weren't mine. He nodded like he knew exactly what I meant. Then came Sunday night. Exactly for weeks since the dinner. Mom texted, "Dinner's at 6. Just a small thing." No pressure. I stared at the message. For a long time, I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no either. I asked, "Who's paying?" She replied, "We are." I went. I didn't bring a pie. I brought myself. That was enough. The table looked different, simpler, smaller portions. No over-the-top casseroles, no glitz, just food, forks, people trying not to say the wrong thing. Jenna said hi like nothing had happened. Dad didn't speak much, but when he did, his voice was lower. Calmer. At the end of the night, I stood up to leave and Mom walked me to the door. She didn't say sorry. Not exactly. She said, "We're trying." I nodded. That's all I wanted. In the car, I sat with my hands on the wheel for a few seconds, letting the moment settle. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt grounded. And that was new. That night, I went home, watered later, and noticed something strange. A new leaf, bright green, unfurling slowly, like it trusted the light would still be there tomorrow. I laughed. I'm not the guy who names plants. I'm the guy who fixes door hinges at 2 a.m., but these little things, the quiet wins, they feel like proof. Proof I made the right call. Proof I didn't break the family. I just stopped letting it. I wish I could tell you that everything stayed healed. That Mom started texting just to say hi without a hidden ask. That Dad looked me in the eye and said he was proud. That Jenna became the poster child for financial responsibility. But this isn't a fairy tale. It's something better. It's real. A month after that quiet Sunday dinner, I woke up to a message from Dad. No yelling. No demands. Just, I got the job. Hardware store. Part-time. It's not much, but I'll cover next month. Don't worry. That might sound small. But from a man who once said, "I'm not sitting in some office like a prisoner," it was massive. I replied, "That's good, Dad. You'll feel better with your own money." He just sent a thumbs up. The kind without the passive aggression for once. Progress. ****. Jenna texts me now and then. Nothing dramatic. Just little flashes of a real person behind the filters and stories. Got promoted to shift lead. Put $50 in savings this week. Bought Mom's birthday gift myself. Didn't even ask you? Impressed. I usually send a simple nice job. Once, I sent a gold star emoji. She replied, "Ooh, don't do that," but she kept texting anyway. I think part of her still expects me to revert. To swoop in the next time rent's late or her car squeals, but I don't. I answer messages, not invoices. ***, my mom. She's the slowest to change. She still slips sometimes. Calls with that tone that makes the back of my neck tighten, like I'm about to be told I ruined something. Last week, she called and started with, "Can I just say one thing without you jumping down my throat?" I said, "Sure." She said, "You know, your sister's doing her best, and your father's old, and I'm tired." I waited. Then she added, voice cracking just a little, "But I understand now why you said no. It hurt, but I get it." That was new. Not a full apology, but it was the first time she said, "I understand," instead of "you're being selfish." So I told her calmly, "I love you. I just needed to love myself, too." She cried, but she didn't hang up. Asterisk, asterisk, I still work nights, still patrol the same halls, still sip coffee that tastes like cardboard, still deal with drunk tenants who think I'm the building manager or a ghost or their ex. But I don't hate it anymore, because when the cameras flicker, when the elevator squeals, when the lobby's empty and the silence presses in, I feel something solid in me now. Like I'm not drifting. I belong to myself again. Asterisk, asterisk, last week, the rookie I trained pulled me aside. He said, "How do you stay so calm when people yell at you?" I told him, "They're not yelling at you. They're yelling at what they don't know how to fix." He wrote it down like it was scripture, and I realized that used to be me, not the person yelling. Not with my mouth, but with my bank account. My exhaustion. My quiet hope that they'd one day see me and say, "You matter outside of what you give," but I don't need them to say it anymore, because I say it to myself now every time I water my plants. Every time I fold my shirts on Sunday night. Every time I sleep through the night without my phone buzzing with crisis. I say it when I open the fridge and there's enough food. When my rent clears on the 1st. When I light a candle because I want to, not because I'm trying to cover the scent of stress. I say it when I sit still and no longer feel like I'm failing someone just by resting. I say, I matter, and that is more powerful than any inheritance, apology, or family dinner invitation. Asterisk, asterisk, the day I bought later. The cashier told me, "This one's hard to kill, but you still have to remember to water it." Boundaries are the same. They're resilient, but they need tending. They're not a wall. They're a door with a lock. And now, finally, I'm the one with the key. Asterisk, asterisk, if you're where I was, sitting in the middle of a dinner table, fork trembling, stomach clenched, being called useless with a smile, I want to tell you something. You're not weak for leaving. You're not selfish for keeping your money, your energy, your peace. You are not the villain in someone else's story just because you stopped funding the lead. Write the word boundaries. Then, write enough. Say it once. Say it calmly. Then let the silence do the work. And when they call you dramatic, smile, because healing always looks dramatic to people who benefit from your chaos. Asterisk, asterisk, I'm Scott. I'm 32. I'm a security guard. I used to pay for love and rent and ribs and Wi-Fi passwords. Now I pay for my own life, on time, in full, and without apology. And every time I hear my mom's voice in my head, still echoing, "How does it feel to be useless, son?" I smile, and I say it feels great, because I finally stopped being your bank. And I go back to watering my plants, because I've got things to grow now. Starting with me.